Hey everybody, I'm Jeffrey Lunnan. There's no Kelly Ellers, and this is Volume Up by the Tees.
You were told nice girls finish last, but what if being nice was never the problem? What if the real problem was everything women were taught to give up in order to win? Their voice, their boundaries, their ambition, even themselves. In Nice Girls Win, I challenge the invisible contracts women have been honoring without ever agreeing to them. This isn't a book about becoming harder, louder, or less like yourself. It's your permission slip to lead with confidence, use kindness as your competitive advantage, and build success that actually feels good. Because nice girls don't finish last, nice girls win.
Look, Kelly, our faithful co-host, is on some deserved vacation. Actually, in the middle of nowhere in Canada, hopefully not being impacted terribly by the wildfire smoke, which obviously, maybe not. This was planned before we knew that that was going to be such a big issue. And she's fishing, if you can believe it. Longtime listeners will know that this is like a yearly occurrence. And it just so happens that this is the week in which she's doing that. And we love that for her. I myself am freshly back on the West Coast from the East Coast. Earlier this week, I was at the Black Beauty Roster Beauty Show, their first trade show, and had the most incredible time connecting with old friends, some of whom have been on the pod. Shout out to Monet Everett, Kia Neal, and some others, some new friends as well, and just got to take in quite a lot. So much inspiration. I don't even know where to start with how successful that event was. It was presented by SalonCentric, and SalonCentric showed up in a huge way. So, being the title sponsor, you can understand there were a number of team members. Rather, there were a number of educators that came from the brands that are retailed at SalonCentric. SalonCentric had an incredible booth presence in which there was also a stage, and so there was like constant education. So many brands were there, in addition to those that are retailed by SalonCentric. So we saw, I think, Pattern, Oribe, Olaplex, Kenra, Joico. There were so many. Fenty Beauty, Fenty Hair, Fenty Skin, so many beauty brands, so like makeup, cosmetics, and curiously, Cherry Coke. Um, Cherry Coke was there in a big way, and they were going around, honestly, like at the perfect time. Every time that I needed a little bit of caffeine, there was somebody rolling one of those enormous, a can-shaped cooler that looked like a big cherry Coke can, and inside of it was like all of the variations. And so I got myself a sugar-free cherry Coke basically whenever I needed a caffeine hit, which was delightful on top of obviously all of the programming. So Black Beauty Roster doing big things, and they're on thetees.com. So there's a recap from us and tons of content. We got some really, really interesting interviews that happened sort of in the crowd, things we didn't expect that we were thrilled to be able to do. Like got to talk to Chuck Amos, among others. So yeah, check that out. And I can't wait for next year. It's going to be incredible, I think. And yeah, I'm stoked to be back, although feeling very strange about doing this by myself. So you'll all have to bear with me. Let's do some obsessed or over it. It's just gonna be me, and I'm hoping that I'm obsessed with it. Because if we're not, it's gonna be sad. I don't have anybody to go against here. So we're gonna be reacting to product, services, trends, and decide if they're a hit or a miss. We're gonna follow along, or you're gonna follow along. Checking the show notes, go to our Instagram. We've got these things. All right, this is a TikTok video about 5 things that are worth what? My money. Okay. A claw clip, a Dyson Airwrap, a Way Bond Repair Balm, Rode Pocket Blush, and a Slip Eye sleep mask. So, there's some rumblings out there on the internet right now about one of the brands that are mentioned here. I don't want to necessarily call anybody out, but I think that it's widely understood that there are accusations of some marketing being ripped off by another smaller brand's marketing, which we may be exploring on thetees.com. But I think that I'm being asked about whether or not I like this trend. And actually, I really do. I'm actually obsessed with it, mostly because we're such product junkies on Volume Up and on thetees.com. So people really revealing things that they really fuck with is something that I'm actually quite into. I don't know that I agree with this specific list, although this might be useful for people that sort of fit the profile of our girl Tilly. But I think that it's a lot of fun to see what people are listing as being worth spending on. The MEJ claw clip. So look, MEJ is everywhere. I think right now there's like no other when it comes to a claw clip. So I think that this one makes a ton of sense. Like I know how enduringly popular it is. So yeah, this one I can understand. The Dyson Airwrap is controversial. I mean, we know pros have strong feelings about Dyson products, whether in favor of or against. I myself don't have nearly enough hair to even fathom the idea of using an air wrap. I think we all know this. If you're watching, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm maybe not as into that personally. And again, have heard some qualms. Way bond repair balm. Everybody seems to have some sort of bond repair situation on deck in their product assortment. I'm not reaching for Way for literally anything, I think is kind of my take on that. Yeah, so we'll just leave it there. What else? We got Rode Pocket Blush. So this is a genuine question to the audience, gang. Pocket Blush, so you can just like get to the blush easier? Is that is that what I'm to make of? What is the difference between a regular blush and a pocket blush? Can this be revealed to me by the production team?
You've lost me.
What is a pocket blush? Is it just that it's a
A smaller,
small?
yeah, smaller
Oh,
sized blush,
yeah.
maybe?
Then I think I'm obsessed with that generally. I mean, obviously I don't love Rode anything, but I do know that people fuck with this brand and these products. So sure, like a small thing so you can take blush with you on the go. I could be into that. Maybe
Could also be maybe just a child size. Like maybe it's just a child size
right, like Polly Pocket is
blush.
what comes to
Yeah,
mind when I see pocket
basically.
blush. And there's that. So I think that that's important. I think any sort of like mini cosmetic makes sense, is incredibly practical. I mean, I have my things. We all do. So this one, I could see why you'd spend your money on that. Buying both the full size and the pocket size. The Sleep Eye Sleep Mask. Now, this is something I Slip Eye, excuse me. I don't think. I don't like a sleep mask. There's something I think it is like to do with my psychology. I don't like things being on my face. Certainly not to sleep. I don't find that to be relaxing. I feel like that's it's sort of like claustrophobic. Um, yeah, so that's absolutely no, I would never vouch for anything like that. I feel like you'd have to be in a really bright space to get me to wear a sleep mask. So, I mean, again, I think like this is a great list. I genuinely enjoy this trend of people divulging their deepest, darkest, best buys as a product junkie, product head. Like this scratches an itch for me. But this one in particular, maybe not. Although it is quite popular. So let us know. Do you guys fuck with these brands? These specific products? Like I'd love to know. And if you've got others that you would recommend to us, our inbox is literally always open. We are looking forward to you getting in touch with us. Volumeupatthetees.com. Drop your product recs, please, and maybe we'll talk about them here on the pod. All right, we are joined today by Antoinette Beenders. Antoinette is Aveda's Senior Vice President of Global Artistry and one of the most influential creative forces in professional beauty. Her work seamlessly blends fashion, nature, craftsmanship, and purpose, inspiring artists around the world to continually evolve their creative expression. She joins us today to talk about Aveda's newest launch, One for All, which is a really exciting new elixir. And we're going to get into that. Make sure that you subscribe, rate, and review, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all of the places at Read the Teas, and send in questions to us or product recommendations to volumeupthetees.com. But before we get to my interview with the Antoinette Beenders, let's talk Tees Beauty News. This is a important story. We talk about Zendaya often on this pod, as we should, because she's fucking killing it. Sorry, I don't have Kelly here to modify my language. And so, yeah, let's do it. The article is called Inside Zendaya's Sleek Spider-Man Brand New Day, Los Angeles premiere hairstyle with Ursula Stephen. The year of Zendaya continues. Zendaya turned heads at the LA premiere of Spider-Man Brand New Day with a sleek, slick-back low ponytail created by celebrity hairstylist Ursula Stephen. But the real standout was her statement bangs, which were intentionally shaped to resemble spider legs and tie into the film's theme. Using Berber products, Stephen brought the bold red carpet look to life. Head to tees.com for the full step-by-step breakdown. This Look, I mean, we say this in the piece, and I talk about this with the team all the time. Just when you think that she can't do better, she does better. And this one in particular, I mean, like the bang, I can't get enough. I'm so glad that people are having fun with hair, and she in particular, fashion, hair, makeup, like really does all of the things. Her team certainly seems to have the like carte blanche to really go for it. And we are infinitely appreciative. So if you like that look, let us know about it. If you don't, I don't want to hear about it.
My favorite quote someone said is, "You can never pick your favorite Zendaya look because it's always the next one." And I feel that
Oh,
deeply in my soul, to be
that
honest.
that is the perfect thing to yes, because truly, like every time it's topped by the next one, which is a little bit heartbreaking. It's like, yeah. Anyway, shout out to them. Shout out to her team. They're really killing it. Thank you so much to our contributors and our editors for this week's beauty news. And don't forget to check out more stories like these and more Zendaya content if you're into it over on thetease.com. Now stay tuned for our interview with Antoinette and the exciting Aveda launch. As stylists, you know the real test of any product doesn't happen in a marketing meeting. It happens behind the chair. That's why Amika created Amika Backrooms, a community built for pros who want first access to new products, real time to test them in the salon, and the opportunity to influence future launches before anyone else. The latest release from the program is the Protector, a new color care routine created to help keep color vibrant, strengthen hair, and defend against everyday stressors that can fade your client's color. Lock in vibrancy, lock out faders. Our stylists tested it first, and now you can get it on your shelves today. If you want to try what's next before everyone else, head to amikabackrooms.com and get the Protector today at your favorite distributor. Antoinette Beenders is Aveda's Senior Vice President of Global Artistry and one of the most influential creative forces in professional beauty. A NAHA winner and visionary behind collections including the revolution of Reinvention and Abyssal, Beenders has spent decades shaping Aveda's artistic identity while championing sustainability, innovation, and the transformative power of hair. Her work seamlessly blends fashion, nature, craftsmanship, and purpose, inspiring artists around the world to continually evolve their creative expression. Antoinette, welcome to Volume Up. How's it going?
Great. So lovely to be here. Nice to see you on the other side of the screen.
Yes,
How are
it
you?
is. I'm doing quite well. It is lovely to see you in this way. We've engaged in real life, but here we are doing it electronically. And we're gonna bring people up to speed on what you and Aveda have been up to, which, no surprise, a lot of different things. Specifically, a pretty big launch that we're gonna get into. But before we do that,
Yeah.
for people that have maybe been living under a rock, could you describe your role specifically with Aveda? Because you do quite a lot, and I feel like it might be nice to sort of ground this conversation in
Right.
the expansiveness of this role.
Right. Okay. Well, where do I start? First of all, next year it's going to be my 30th anniversary with Aveda. So it's been a
Congratulations.
while. Thank you. It's been a little while. But my position really is senior vice president. This is my corporate title, the
Hmm.
senior vice president, global artistry at Aveda. So what does that mean? It means a lot of things. And I've had different roles within the brand throughout the years.
Hmm.
But really, I'm part of the creative leadership of the brand. As in, I help guide them in development of innovative beauty concepts and trends. I'm a brand ambassador, so I am kind of one of the face of the brand when it comes to big shows,
Hmm.
something maybe like NAHA or Contessa or any of those big ones. I collaborate with many different teams, so I'm kind of in between in a hybrid between creative, education, marketing, leadership. It's like a whole, combo. And within that, I help with product development. I help, mentor artistic teams.
Hmm.
I help do the hair on photo shoots, whether it's for trade or for consumer. That's why this launch is quite interesting because it was a very big one.
Hmm.
And then I help with trend forecasting, what's going to happen in the trade, as well as mentorship, where I really pick up on emerging talent and nurture them and nourish them and kind of bring them forward. And yeah, there's a lot of Antoinette babies out there now.
There certainly are. We've met them. Some of them have been on this podcast. You're a legend in our industry, and I'm thrilled to be able to chat with you about something because you do it all, and this product that we are about to talk about also does it all. And the product
Yeah.
that we're getting at is One for All, which is the
Yeah.
brand new leave-in elixir from the brand. I, I mean, we're gonna get into all of the things. Where did your stuff? Where did the genesis of like your exposure to this product come from? Before we get into all of the sort of nitty-gritty, like where did you figure in as this came to be?
My personal involvement.
Hmm.
Well, basically, I'm automatically involved in product development because of leadership
Beautiful.
or because of my role within the company. But really, I sometimes I am at the beginning stage of stuff and at the end stage of stuff, and
Hmm.
then the in between bit I leave to other people. But to just put it in a nutshell, when this product was created, we really wanted to come up with something completely different that was really truly for everybody. So we have an incredible R&D team in our facilities here in Minnesota, and they really, I mean, we really gave them quite a challenge. Say we wanted to do this. There's 25 different things actually, and they went to work, and then what happens once we start with a product? They then, it's like cooking something in the kitchen. They will make it
Hmm.
like a little batch, and then they put it to the people that they trust and believe in. Some of them are people like myself, but also hairdressers behind the chair. We have an incredible blue sky team that works behind the chair on a daily basis. So it really gets road tested before it actually becomes anything. And then, then we'll start tweaking. It needs a bit more of this, a bit more of that. And then when the final product comes to it, it then ends up with another 300 hairdressers throughout the world, believe it or not. This is not just a US thing, this is a global thing. And then they test it and will take their feedback, and then it comes back in its final form, and then I end up on the shoot with the product in my hand and use it.
Full circle.
Yeah,
Crazy. You mentioned this. I mean, a little bit of a spoiler is that this product needed to work for all. So I'd
yeah,
love to understand the inspiration, the
yeah,
development behind this product. Like,
yeah,
how did it come to be? Not necessarily your involvement, but
yeah.
the product itself. Where did it come from? You said you challenged the R&D team.
Yeah, well,
What
we
more?
wanted something that was really lightweight and truly could be used on every hair texture.
Hmm.
So from your 1 all the way to your 4C. Now that's a challenge in itself because
Hmm.
as we're, and the audience is well aware, in previous times, we've always looked at those textures in a very different way from a hydration, moisturizing point of view. But we really challenged the R&D gang at Aveda with, hey, we want something that is super lightweight. We can use as a buildable product as well. So we use it in all hair types. And then if I want to put something on top of that, I can use that as well. And that's kind of where it came from. It also came from the idea that when you look at kind of, the millennials and the Gen Zs in the world,
Hmm.
less is more for them. They want to do one thing with lots of different things in it. And so you combine all that, put it together, and then you end up with a brand new concept.
I mean, you mentioned wanting to do a lot. This product, as you had said very briefly, has 25 benefits. Do
Yeah.
you think you could list them all off the top of your head?
Oof, top of my
When I got
head
that
might
release, I
be
was like, oh,
tricky.
wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow, we really do it all.
exactly. I mean, to list them off, I can read them all off, but it's a bit boring. However, the beautiful thing is not everybody has 25 needs, right? So
Hmm.
you really pinpoint onto the ones that you need. So we have moisturizing, it prevents breakage, hydration, slipability. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but it really is a product that when I use it myself and I do various hair textures, I kept saying yesterday as well, it's almost like the first stage of you getting dressed.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
then on top of that, you put the clothes that you want to wear today. I always try to refer back to fashion in a funny kind of way. So it's a product like I love it as a prep, for instance, but I've also used it as a styling product. I've used it as a finishing product. It's not really in one category, and that's what I love about it. It's a leave-in elixir.
So
You can spray it on your hand even, and it makes your hair or your skin rather feel very soft as well. I don't know if you've tried that, but
So
it's
this
quite
is literally
amazing.
my preferred mode of application is literally that. I love to shake it up, spray it on my
Yeah,
hands, emulsify a bit, and then really get in there.
yeah.
I want to know how you use it. Is that how you're the pro? How is Antoinette using the
I use
one
it
for
in
all?
different ways all the
Yep.
time. So, for instance, last week I was on a shoot,
Mhm.
and there was a gentleman there, or a guy that had kind of a little bit of a wave to his hair, like a 3A, 3B kind of texture. And it was super humid. I was in New York on location, super humid,
Oof.
and it started to go frizzy a little bit. I don't know. And I wanted it to look really casual, but defrizz it a touch. And again, one of the beautiful elements of One for All, it also defrizzes. So rather than, using various different things to do that, which can, especially on men's hair, I think, can look
Mhm.
very quickly too done or too producty. So we ended up spraying it just literally directly onto his hair. It's got a lovely white nozzle, so it sprays very nicely and evenly. Sprayed it on his hair, kind of massaged it through a little bit, and just let it air dry. Didn't even touch it until it was completely dry. And then I ruffled my hands through it, and in England we say "Bob's your uncle." It looked fantastic. His wave was defined without it being frizzy, and it also lasted, which is great because it's got an up to 72-hour claim on it too. So for me on location, it was absolutely amazing. So that was just men's shorter hair. Then the other day I did a client, and she's got more like I would say a 2B, 3A type of vibe.
Okay.
Again, he's
Different.
been coloring her hair forever. It's
Mhm.
also got color protection. That's why every time I talk about hair, oh, it also has that. Oh, it also has that. And she likes volume, but again, she likes to put her hands through her hair. So I used it, I sprayed it in my hands, I put it through her hair. It's got kind of a bobby type of length. And then on top of it, I used another product called Abundant Blowout. And the combination of the two was just gorgeous. I had the slip of the One for All. I had the moisturize and hydration and the defrizzing of the One for All. But then I combined it with the Abundant Blowout, and that gave me the hold factor. So I ended up having this beautiful voluminous hair that I could just put my fingers through, and it was fantastic. And it didn't feel like too producty. And I love that.
I mean, that's the dream. And I think that we are constantly chasing that dragon of the product that doesn't feel too producty. And I think that this
Yeah.
one actually delivers on that. And I can say that
Yeah.
as somebody who's used it, you've obviously used it.
I use it
For
on my hair, and
yeah.
my hair is super fine. And that's what I love about it. So, oh, I need to have my roots done as I'm looking at you, Jeffrey. But you know what? I have super fine hair, and it doesn't feel heavy on my hair. As you can tell, it looks super soft. It
Mhm.
feels super soft, but it just has this really lovely kind of, I wouldn't even say coating because it doesn't feel like a coating. It just feels lovely, and I mean, that shine. It just feels good.
It feels great. And it also smells great, which I want to get into in a second. But
Mm,
for the pros that are out there that are sort
yeah.
of trying to wrap their heads around this, how do you describe an elixir? Because there's people that it's not an oil. It's
Nope.
not. So what's your
That's
sort
a
of?
good question.
Mhm.
How do, well, to me, an elixir, I mean, and this is quite different because this is a spray on a leave-in elixir.
Hmm.
So genuinely, we used to have a product called Elixir in way early Aveda days, and that was like a hydrating, moisturizing leave-in conditioner. This is a spray one. So it's very, how can I describe? It's very light.
Hmm.
It's like the word coating sounds too much to me, sounds too heavy. That's why I'm very nervous of saying that word. But it feels very light, very slippery when you put it on wet.
Hmm.
And how would I compare that to something else?
It's just
It's
I
not
bring it
even a
up.
lotion. I wouldn't even say it's a lotion.
That's what I'm getting. It's unlike something that I think
Yeah.
people are really familiar with, which is all the more reason that I think that they ought to try it themselves. Again,
Hmm.
I know, we get all sorts of products across our desk. You're involved deeply in all of the testing.
Hmm.
When I saw Elixir, I was like, well, what could this be? And it is all of these beautiful things, and I particularly like the spray. But then the
Yeah.
slip that you get once it's in the hair is unlike anything that I've experienced with other products. So I just wanted to sort of pick your brain
I
about
know. I
that.
think it's really unique. I
It
mean, I've
really
been in
is.
this game quite a while, and I've never seen a consistency texture like it.
Mhm.
I almost like it reminds me a little bit of a skincare texture. Is that fair to say?
I think very much so. It's sort of like a toner in thinking. I mean, obviously the science is not that, so don't hold
Yeah,
me to it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
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 it
yeah,
is it
yeah,
is
yeah.
unlike anything that I've experienced before, and that's why I wanted to
Hmm.
sort of pick your brain about that a bit.
And then it blows your mind once you've got the texture that it's a spray
Hmm.
because you don't expect that texture to be a spray either. And I think that's really interesting too.
The other beautiful thing about it is something I alluded to, which is the scent. So if you
Yeah,
could talk to us a little bit about that, because I think fans of the brand, I mean, this is new, this is an entirely new product, but it
yeah.
does feel familiar. It feels grounded and true to Aveda. Why is that?
Well, like any Aveda product, I would say, we first and foremost, we're about high performance.
Hmm.
High performance naturals, if I had to put it in one little sentence. Um, it's got to obviously be natural or very highly natural derived. It's got to have high performance because we're a professional product. We
Hmm.
always, make products for the professional first. And then it's got to have this amazing aroma, be vegan, and wrap that all in a sustainable packaging, wrap that all in one, and then you become an Aveda product. Well, that's not always the easiest thing to do. So,
No.
from an aroma point of view, we have jasmine in there, which is very close to my heart because I was hired originally by Horst, and Horst always his fragrance was jasmine.
Uh-huh.
So to me, it's an emotional moment,
Uh-huh.
but it's got ylang ylang, it's got rose, so it really appeals to a very wide audience. Um, yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, again, from a sustainability point of view, we put in meringue oil, which comes from Guatemala. There's lots of. I mean, I could go into one about sustainability. We look after farmers that get paid 10 times more in order to produce this. The trees where it comes from is they kind of can be amongst other crops. They don't necessarily take the water out of the soil. There's like so much to it, and I think that's what many people might not necessarily understand, that Aveda is not just a product on a shelf.
Mm.
It's A, first and foremost, it's got to have high performance, otherwise it never makes the shelf. B, and natural ingredients are as much naturally derived as possible. And I have to be honest, I'm super proud to mention that this particular one for all is 99% naturally derived. Um, then it's got to be vegan, of course, that goes without saying. And then it's got to be in the sustainable packaging. So,
Mm.
and we also need to make sure that the ingredients where it comes from, we can trace back. So
Hmm.
we know which farmers, which farms it comes from. And then we need to make sure that those people are taken care of and be
Which
paid
we'll
fair
get into
wages.
because I think that
Yeah.
this is a really beautiful and unique point of view, and certainly a
Mm-hmm.
practice of Aveda's longstanding, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Mm-hmm.
that this in particular does bear a little bit of explanation because I think people will be really tickled by the impact in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about the formulation itself. So, I mean, we've sort of danced around it. You've talked about how it's lightweight. It's got these 25 benefits. It can work for all hair textures. What
Mm-hmm.
are the things that you want pros to know about sort of its use behind the chair, whether it is for session, for editorial, or just like with a regular everyday client? What is it that people should be going to this product for?
Well, I think first and foremost, you can use it. I know this sounds really cliche because it's called one for all. I mean, you can't make a better name up.
Hmm.
It truly is one for all. So you can use it behind the chair, you can use it on set, you can use it on extensions. I wouldn't necessarily use it on the connection of the extensions. You can use it on wigs. You can truly use it on anything with hair.
Hmm.
So I love that about it. The other thing that I like is if you are not known or not familiar with the Aveda brand, this is a really great entry point product for you to get to know the product, get to know the line because of all the 25 benefits, but also the introduction to our aromas and the truly high performance product that it is.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
What I want to talk a little bit about is it being positioned as a universal product.
Yeah.
What do you think, or rather, what does it take to formulate something that performs across such a diverse range of hair textures? Because again, you said it's sort of cliche in its positioning, one for all, but it really does work, which is no easy feat. We talked about this at the top of the combo.
Mhm.
Historically, products have been segmented. Well, we work for this and then we work for that, and this is really embracing all and working for all. What
Yeah.
went into making that a possibility? Because I know that's not an easy feat.
No, well, first of all, it took our entire R&D department. It wasn't just one
Appropriately
person
so.
behind this, right? Let's
Yep.
start with that. And we have quite a big building in Blaine with a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge on, how nature works and what it takes to put it together and how to extract oils and do things like that. So it took the entire R&D department to start with that. And then, of course, once the testing process starts, it goes into the hands of the professional. And I always say a product is only as good as the stylist that tests it.
Mm.
Think about that for a minute. So if you have a high caliber of stylists behind the chair, then automatically your product is going to, and they test your product, it's going to be way better than someone who's been in the industry for 2 months. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about our testing process is we go to the people behind the chair, but we go to people like me who've been in the industry for over 45 years, plus a couple of other ones globally, and we tested on every single hair texture. And I think that is what that takes. And it's no easy feat. It really isn't. It takes a lot. And, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it more, but even from a campaign point of view, we really thought this one through. It
No,
wasn't
we'll get there. We'll get there because
we're
it's
going to get
beautiful
there. Okay. I'm
and
going
it's
too
really
fast,
robust.
too
We're
quick.
going a little.
Okay.
Let's slow it down. What I want to know is what sort of feedback have you gotten? Again, this is new to our listeners. This is not new to you. Again, this elaborate testing process that is
Yeah.
global.
Uh-huh.
What is it that people have been saying along the way? How are they using it to sort of give our listeners some
Yeah.
insight on how they ought to be?
Well, different style. You have different styles that I would say you track where you project. So you attract the clients that you project as a person, right? I always
Hmm.
found that behind the chair. So, we have again people that work a lot with the 1, 2, and 3 texture segments, but also
Hmm.
a lot of hairstylists that works with the 3, 4, 3 and 4 segments. So you use it in different ways. It's just applying it in different ways because at the end of the day, you can pinpoint what you want from it. So,
Hmm.
for instance, if you have making stuff up 4B hair, let's go there, right? And your hair's damaged and it's breaking, you could use this, spray it on the damaged parts first, then separate your hair into sections, and then really make sure that the product is evenly distributed throughout. Yeah, which you should do regardless anyway in all hair textures. If you have fine hair like me, like I wouldn't really spray this on my roots because it has got 25 benefits. But my hair, I like it more from mid-length to end. When we use it on curly or coily hair, we can use it, make sure you perhaps use more because you need more hydration. So you'd use more of it. And it's a really, although it's just one bottle for everybody, it's actually very much a customization when it comes to the application, if that makes sense.
No, it makes all the sense in the world. And even in the way that you're describing how you use it versus how I'm using it, I'm just curious as to how people have been putting it to work because it does so much, and it's
Yeah.
really coming down to like unleashing your knowledge in order to put those benefits to work for your clients.
But the best benefit you will get if you put it on damp hair. That's where you need that hair to be open a little bit so it can actually get in there. So make sure the hair is damp and also make sure you shake it
I
really
was
well.
I'm so glad you said this. I stupidly, and I'll say
Yeah.
it to myself,
I did the same. I did the same. That's why
I
I'm
was
really
just like,
fussy about it.
and then I sprayed it and I sort of applied it to damp hair. I had done that much, and did not enjoy that. Understood upon reading the instructions, you must shake, and then did that, and it made all the difference in the world. So I'm glad you brought it up. And I will say myself, shaking again, all the difference in the world.
Crucial. Crucial.
Yes,
Absolutely crucial. And think about it, all those benefits in one
you gotta
bottle.
activate it.
You exactly right. So shake it. Make sure
Yep.
you shake it and put it on damp hair.
Now talk to us about the name. I mean, obviously, the product doing all of these things, working for all. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to name it as such. We were sort of joking about cliche, and we can cut this if we don't like that ultimately.
Mhm.
I find that it's quite beautiful, that it does acknowledge quite explicitly that it works for all. So tell me about what were the considerations that went into this. I'm sure, again, you've mentioned the village, the team, everybody's involved.
Yeah.
How do we land on that ultimately?
Well, because Aveda's always been very inclusive, as a brand. So we really wanted something that was easy to recognize, said what it did, like not be too wordy because sometimes I think we can get a little wordy when it comes to product. Um, having been a creative director and guilty of that one many times. So it's simple in its way, but how can I say, available and non-exclusive. It's inclusive of everyone.
Mm.
And that's what I love about it. It's not only one for all, like as in one bottle for, for every hair type. It's also for where it's male, female, whatever, we are, it's for truly for everybody. And that's why I think it really connects very well. And it kind of rolls off the tip of your tongue, doesn't it? One for all. It's simple.
It's simple, beautiful, I think impactful too. Immediately it sort of lands with you, which brings me to a little bit of the formulation and the storytelling that you were referring to in terms of moringa oil and
Yes.
its sustainably harvested sort of
In
nature.
Guatemala.
Yes, from
Yeah.
Guatemala. Tell us a little bit about how it's
How that
firstly
works.
sourced. I like genuinely because you talked about sort of cyclical nature. I'd love to just like talk about this for a
Right.
bit. How do we know that moringa seed oil was going to be key? And then how did you go
Okay.
about identifying,
Okay. All
sourcing it?
right. Let me start there first. So first of all, we have people that work with us here in Blaine, Minnesota, who know everything about plants. Like they have degrees in plants and know everything. I think it's called pharmacognosist, that role. I'm not. What I think that role is. It gets very
Sure.
scientific.
Yeah.
Well, these people, if we say we want the hair to do A, B, C, D, then they go start looking around what ingredients were, which natural ingredient will actually have that performance when we put it all together. And that's how they came to the moringa oil or the moringa trees. It's a nut, it's a seed. So the trees are grown, in fields amongst other crops, like I mentioned earlier. And what's interesting
Hmm.
about it, it can also, it contributes organic material to the soil, as well as providing shade and reducing evaporation. So these trees are planted on agricultural fields to help also address erosion. So they have very strong roots and and provide a habitat for birds and insects as well. So it's not just like a little tree in the middle of nowhere. It can be amongst crops. So farmers can have these trees amongst crop to prevent erosion, look after the natural habitat, whilst they're also getting remuneration from their crops. And now this. So it's a double whammy for the farmers. Hence, they get paid more for their crops, which is a win-win for everybody, really.
I mean, talking about the sort of stacked multiple benefits, this is one that consumers, whether they are pros or, a client of a pro, don't necessarily know about, but I think is so important. And I wanted to make sure that we could talk about it because this is, I think, part and parcel of what Aveda is about and what makes it different
Yeah.
than so many of the other pro bands that sort of claim that impact is important, but then don't show up in these ways. And here you've broken down this process beautifully, where it is very much cyclical, very much in fitting with all of the things that are so important to the brand and that have been for decades.
Absolutely. And also, I think, and that's, listen, like I said, it's my 30th year next year,
Mhm.
That's not for just any old reason. It's we truly walk the talk. And I love that about the brand, and it always has had. And what I think is really interesting now, as green chemistry has become so trendy. We've
Mhm.
been doing it since 1978.
Yep.
Um,
Before it was a
what
thing, quote unquote.
was that?
Before it was a thing.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
mentioned
Yeah.
it's a trend, but it's not trendy when you've done it the entire time.
Well, and we had to find out a lot about it and had to create things that didn't exist. But what's so lovely about it becoming, well, a trend or more people are into green chemistry is that we have much more, how can I say, uh, there's much more out there now for us to go to. Like in the old days, I remember not even 15 years ago, we used to like have farmers like give them 3 years of pay so they can grow wheat on their land in order to turn the soil organic, in order to then plant lavender or whatever ingredient we needed for a product.
Wow.
That's not even that long ago. I've been to these fields because as a creative director in those days, I used to go and photograph everything and travel around the world to go and see where these ingredients truly come from.
I mean, you say it so lightly. I don't know that, that everybody approaches
To me, it's
transgression in the same
normal
way.
because I don't know any better.
A little insight into Antoinette's world, guys, for everybody listening and following along on our YouTube. Tell me about, I mean, you mentioned again, there are big advances in sort of green beauty technology,
Yeah,
and largely thanks to the work that the team at Aveda has been doing and pushing the industry and industries plural forward. Another
yeah.
thing that the brand has really been pioneering is sustainability in terms of packaging, approach in terms of coming to market. Tell me a little bit about that because I know that this is not happenstance. This is definitely something that's important.
Yeah.
And you've been around for, number of years to
Yep.
see this come to life. So I'd love to talk
Yeah.
about sustainability specific to One for All.
Yeah. Sustainability to one for all. Okay. Well, sustainability in general, it's part of our DNA. Let's start with that. Okay.
Mhm.
We've always been like that. And as the brand grows further and further, it actually gets stronger and stronger, to be honest. When it becomes, when it deals with the plastics we use, when it comes to, everything has to be recycled. I mean, it is without state of a day. However, from a sustainability point of view, also, it's not just the the packaging that it's in.
Mhm.
It goes all the way through to the ingredients that are in the product, like I was saying earlier with the farmers in Guatemala. So it's a non-negotiable. Let me put it that way. It's a non-negotiable for Aveda, and we've been doing it a long way. There's a lot of green brands out there that might have green ingredients, but they're not necessarily sustainable when it comes to
Mhm.
their packaging
Mhm.
or when it comes to their ingredient story, supporting truly the communities out there that are picking the crops for us in order to create, our ingredients. But also then on top of that, our high performance. That's a game changer because I'm not going to say it's easy to be green because, right, trust me, it's really
Ooh.
not. And also, it's not easy to be high performance. But to have the combination of both is truly a game changer, in my opinion. And I think we're pretty good at that.
I would say so too. I laugh because it's just so refreshing to hear someone talk about it in this way, very
Mm.
bluntly, very matter of factly.
Oh, it's the
Um,
Dutch in me.
oh, I know. It's so lovely. It's so lovely. But it's also true, and that's I think the most exciting bit about chatting with you, specific to One for All, but Aveda in general. These
Hmm.
things are tried and tested over the
Yeah.
years. We know them to be true, which is, I think, important, particularly now. There's so much noise, there's so much distraction
Hmm.
out there, particularly in this industry. It is reassuring to know that you can rely on Aveda to deliver, as you
Yeah.
said, the high performance without compromising on impact, sustainability, formulation, the sort of nature, the balance of it all. Um, let's talk about the campaign because this is a
Hmm.
beautiful one.
Thank you.
Quite expansive. Lots of individuals that are
Hmm.
represented within the campaign. But talk to us about like big picture. As creative SVP, how did this come together? Yeah, let's just start there. I just want to understand the process. Like, how did this
Hmm.
marinate and obviously come to life?
Well, first of all, I got to give the credit to the creative team, Kim Ho and Jacob Dashek,
Mhm.
who obviously pulled this off. And it was a very,
Beautifully.
very different approach. I mean, we've done beautiful hair pictures for a very long time, but this was very much how can we turn it upside down and make it feel super inclusive? So,
Hmm.
what we did, we actually did two shoots. One we did in New York with influencers, environmentalists, Amazonian spokespeople,
Hmm.
even a rapper. I call him X because I can't pronounce his name. Very cool guy. And then we did the second part of the campaign. We did in Minnesota, and we actually took people that worked for Aveda. So we had 25 different people that did different things, male, female, a whole kind of cross section of humanity, so to
Hmm.
speak.
Hmm.
And we all did the hair with, obviously, I had on my team Alan Ruiz, Ken Dawson, and here in Minnesota we had Elena, like lots of different hairdressers, lots of different teams. And it all came together and it became one campaign. And what's really cool at the moment, it's actually the campaign video is on Times Square,
I
which
saw
is
your Instagram story.
crazy. Yeah, I know. It's so
Incredible.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, no, I love
Yeah.
this. I love this when hair brands are represented in this way. I mean, it's such a
Yeah.
big
So
launch for brand and so important. And yeah, congratulations.
it's
So
super
cool.
cool.
So
Yeah, it's
cool.
super cool. And then they had, obviously, they had a huge launch with a lot of the people that were in the images, and we
Mhm.
had hairdressers there doing hair. It was like one big old party. It was great.
Ah, I love. In terms of these images, I mean, you mentioned, I
Yeah.
mean, the brand has done beautiful hair imagery before.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about how this is different. Obviously the casting, but I mean, some collaboration in terms of the photographer, cinematographer. I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Tom
Beautiful.
Schumacher. I've worked with him for many years on many different things.
Mhm.
Incredible photographer, cinematographer. Yeah, and he shot both. Shot both in New York and in Minnesota, and that's why you had the true one for all look. Because
Mhm.
it's. I was thinking, image is a moment in time by the person who takes the picture. So it's
Mhm.
very crucial that you have the same person doing the film as well as the imagery. We actually shot last week with him as well, something else. So yeah,
Ah,
it's definitely a new vibe for Aveda coming your way, and this is the beginning of it. So it's very
ah,
exciting.
incredible.
Yeah, and again, clothes. We actually the clothes that our staff and the influencer are wearing are clothes that you could get at Aveda Congress, like an Aveda T-shirt or an Aveda scarf or a little, little bits of Aveda accessories, and that's also kind of it was truly about the personality of the individuals that were being photographed rather
Mm.
than about the dress or it was truly about their uniqueness in the world, so
Mhm. And the hair, I mean, just beautifully done. All as suggested by our conversation, all hair
mhm.
textures represented,
Yeah,
and really shown at its best, which is so exciting to see. Obviously, we nerd out about the hair, and when you really look at it, just like
yeah.
incredibly
Well, it's
done.
very wearable hair and it's very lived in hair. It's
Mhm.
not it's the kind of hair that real people wear.
In the same way that, I mean, we talked about this, the consumer demanding simplicity. This is the
Yeah,
reality. This is what people look
yeah.
like. And obviously it's a little bit heightened, but you could see real people reflected in this campaign, which I think is, again, refreshing, sort of comes to
Yeah, and
mind.
also you can, I think for the hairdressers out there, or the hairstylists out there, you would recognize your clients in it, which is kind
Mhm.
of fun in this campaign.
Mhm.
So it doesn't feel scary or like, too aspirational.
Mhm.
The product is the aspiration, the people are real, and anyone can use it.
Ooh, that's the clip, Antoinette.
How is it?
Beautiful. Now that's great.
Talking from the heart,
That's
honestly.
that
I got a few notes, but I'm talking from the heart.
we love this. Talk to us about the use of One for All as a cutting lotion.
Oh,
Just
my
in terms of
fave.
because you've mentioned slip a couple times. I want to understand. Again, people look to you for
Right.
cutting edge technique, and so when you say something, I want to explore
Okay.
how are people using it? How are you using it as a cutting lotion?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to go way back into my career and when I
Yes.
used to really teach, on a one-to-one basis,
Hmm.
like our assistants in the London school, the academy. And one key element to doing strong haircuts, cutting sharp lines, is to make sure that your hair is evenly moistened throughout whilst cutting, so evenly wet throughout. What I love about using this as the one for all leave-in elixir as a cutting lotion is that you spray it evenly onto the hair, super important,
Hmm.
but it evens out the moisture within the hair. So you're not like wetting every 5 seconds with a water bottle. It just truly helps you to like smooth the hair out whilst you're cutting or hydrate, moisturize, and the other 23 benefits whilst you're cutting. So it gives you a little bit of lift-in feeling, I suppose.
Mm. Mm.
And
I
then
love
on top
this.
of that, you can, if you want someone who wants extra volume or
Hmm.
extra straight, extra smooth, whatever it is, you can then, customize the styling products that you need and use it on top. It's a buildable product because it's so lightweight. You know what I mean? It's not, you spray it on, you can feel the slip. So it's nice to comb or put your fingers through it, but
Hmm.
it doesn't feel heavy. And I like that.
This is exactly what I think listeners have tuned in for. I'm so glad you got into
Oh,
this.
okay.
People are going to nerd out. For professionals that are behind the chair, how do
Yeah.
you see One for All fitting into their toolkit? Obviously, they've got everything at their disposal,
Yeah.
hypothetically. They've got this. What is it to them ultimately? I mean, I think you've done a nice job of establishing that,
Yeah,
but
I
let's
think it's
just
the
drive it home.
ultimate the ultimate customization product for them. So you've got one bottle on your station and you can truly use it on everyone. So say a client comes in or a guest, you say in America, comes in and, you always ask, the primary hair concern. What's
Mhm.
your second primary hair concern? And then, hey, you can use this for both. You know what I mean? So it's quite amazing.
Mhm.
You can use it literally, like I said, on every texture. So whether it's curly, coily, fine, smooth, coarse, I mean, how many more straight, smooth? You can use it everywhere because everybody has a hair concern.
This is
You
true.
know what I mean?
And
And we
so
all
I
have different hair.
Also true. You've done a beautiful job of establishing that. I mean, this can be inserted into, again, immediately behind the chair into your services. The
Mm.
unique thing is that this is also something that can be retailed. Talk to us a little bit about that, because this is something that pros are not going to be upset that their guests or clients are using at home. So talk to us a little bit
Right.
about the retail consideration.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, I think what's really clever about this product is that it could really easily work as an entry product for either a stylist that's never used Aveda before, or your customer or
Hmm.
your guest, sorry, that has never used it before. Because again, gorgeous aroma, and it does what it says on the bottle.
Hmm.
So it's a really good entry. Like if you had to start, oh, what Aveda, because we have about 400 SKUs, what product do I start with? I would definitely recommend One for All to start with, which makes it easy retailing
Hmm.
because it's like, what do I need on my hair? Well, let's start with One for All. Yeah. And then they will, your client then will find the confidence in using it because it's very easy to use, whether they spray it on damp hair, remember, they shake it well,
Hmm.
or they use it. Yeah, that's super important.
Got to shake
Um,
it.
so it's easy for them to use it at home. They don't have to be a hairdresser themselves to use it. It's
Mm.
easy. So it's so it's a very easy sell. And I know a lot of hairdressers out there are not necessarily comfortable with selling, but I wouldn't even call this selling. This is just helping your customer or your guest to recommend what makes their hair look better and make it easier to do themselves. So that's a win-win really for everybody.
I mean, that's a theme that's coming up a few times in this quick combo, the win-win situation. Something
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about is reinvention. So, I mean, this product, I think, is a sort of embodiment of Aveda's ability to continue to reinvent itself, to make good on the promises, the
Hmm.
founding promises. But
Hmm.
you do that too in your career, and I think that that's why so many people are intrigued and, watch your movements, as it were. You've got your babies
Hmm.
out there that are sort of
Hmm.
proselytizing. What does reinvention mean to you? And how do you think people can successfully do it like you have?
Yeah. Well, you always try, right? Whether it's successful or not, I don't know. That's hard to answer. But
Well,
I
I can say
think,
it.
well, that's very kind of you. But I think being reinventing yourself is about being relevant to what's going on at that moment in time. So whether that was me in the 90s or that's now me in 2026, I try to stay relevant to what's happening and stay abreast of techniques, ideas. And I always think one thing, you've got to be in it to win it. That's always been
Okay.
one of my mottos.
Okay.
Because if you want to be an editorial person, making it up, you got to be in editorial to understand what editorial is. Or if you want to do shows, you've got to do the shows or work on shows to really understand what it is. And what's really magic about those situations, and I'm not saying everybody needs to become editorial or show editor, it's up to you. You get to meet other people that are also in that realm of work, and you enhance each other and uplift each other. So it becomes very interesting. And I've been very lucky. I started my career in 87 in London. I moved to America in 2005, but first had my first hair. I think I'm on my second hair career. My first hair career was very much about being in London, working for Trevor Sorbie, being part of his artistic team, traveling the world, doing shows under his banner. And then I came to Aveda in 97, where Horst had found me, handpicked me from London. I used to live in London and come and do shows for Aveda throughout the world. And then in 2005, the president, after that, he wanted me to become the creative director. So I was a creative director for about 16, 17 years in between my full-on hair career. And it was a natural progression for me because I've always been very much into imagery and you know, the way a brand looks, and that's very much my DNA. But then after 17 years, you know, you end up doing a lot of store design and lots of other things that's not, it's creative, but it's a different type of creative. And I really missed being back in that industry. So I then went back 100% into the industry, and then I went from SVP creative for the brand to SVP artistry, which meant I could go back to do my fashion weeks. I could back to do the trade shows. So I'm on to my second career, hair career. And then funny enough, I've got a funny story for you. One day I walked in and all my awards had fallen on the ground because a shelf was built in my office that collapsed. And this happened in 2019. And I realized, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna have to go and win a few new ones. So then I went back into the award scene and started winning awards. And that's kind of the next generation, the current generation knows me from that second part. They might not necessarily know me from the 90s or the creative director in between. So I've had a very interesting career. And that leads me to trying to stay relevant, you know? So if I look at myself now as an artist, I not only have, of course, amazing hair experience from all those years being in the industry, having had mentors such as Trevor Solby and Horst Rechelbacher. And Trevor was very much about teaching me about hair, where Horst taught me all about holism, you know, knowledge of the whole, which is what Aveda stands for. And it was a natural progression. And then obviously all the knowledge of the photography and the creative direction. So you combine all that, and that's how I pop up with new ideas, you know, on my Insta.
As if it were only
in a
there.
nutshell.
Yeah. What about the third act? So you keep referring to this like second hair career. What's
third act.
next? What's next?
Wow. Well, I've done quite a bit in the industry.
Certainly.
I don't know. Anyone's got any ideas? Bring it up.
I think
I
you've got an idea. You'll tell us when you're ready. I think we'll all experience it together. But we're so thrilled and appreciative for you to have been here to chat through your career, even just a bit, and then obviously to talk through One for All. Before we do anything else, we're going to do our quick takes. These are the questions that we ask of all of our guests, so try not to think about them for too long. And let's get some spicy takes from you.
Okay. Spicy.
Yep. If you could instantly master one skill, not hair related, but maybe it's hair related, what would it be?
Instantly master one skill. You see, I'm a Virgo. I think too much about stuff. Instantly master one skill that I don't have right now.
Correct. Ideally, something new. I feel like you've mastered quite a lot.
That's a hard one, Jeffrey. Instantly master. Of course, I want it to be something. I think it would be clothes design, maybe. I'm fascinated with fabric. I also think of hair as fabric. And I love manipulating hair, manipulating fabrics. I love fashion. I'm always working with fashion. Yeah, I think it would be that. And I'd love to be really good at AI.
Okay.
I'm not there yet. I
we
do
all?
little bits, but I'm not really good at it yet. So.
That's fair. It keeps changing. What is a current go-to song or album? What is an Antoinette listening to?
I'm really at the moment, and I listen to music a lot in the car when I drive to work.
Sure.
Really, what makes me happy straight away is Olivia Dean with So Easy. I love that song. It's so happy. It feels so soulful. But to be honest, I love every type of music. I love music. But that came to mind straight away.
I mean, we love Olivia Dean on the pod, and also like Hair God, the incredible hair on top of the songs and the
I thought she was a model first. I'm like, who's this person?
Yeah.
And then she opened her mouth and started singing. I was like, wow,
it's
unbelievable.
It's hardly fair to the rest of us. Antoinette, what is a haircut or color trend that you are secretly or not so secretly, because you're going to tell us right now, that you're obsessed with?
Right now, I'm really into perfectly imperfect hair. It sounds a bit crazy. So hair that looks good, but it's really undone. So it's got a shape, but it's really undone. That's what I'm into. And I'm working on this idea at the moment. So you might see some
The
of that
third act.
coming through. Maybe, yeah. I love this idea of it because, and I'll tell you why. A lot of the times, as hairdressers, I can talk for myself because, like I
Hmm.
said, I'm a Virgo. I like it to be perfect,
Sure.
and life's not perfect. So I love the idea of like throwing it off balance, upside down, so it still has the structure of perfect, but it doesn't look perfect. Does that make sense?
This does. Okay, people are gonna be
A bit
waiting and
crazy.
watching to see where this goes because I think it's gonna come to life.
Yeah, it will.
You've done a lot of the celebrity, the editorial, these big things. But if you
Mm.
could work with a designer
Yeah,
uh, for a new show where
yeah.
you're doing the hair design,
Hmm.
who would it be and why? What would you do? All of the things.
Okay. So I actually have a really good example of that because I'm about to do that. There is an incredible designer in New York called Bad Binge Tong Tong, and he is very avant-garde, and it's refreshing to see that. And I'll tell you why, because especially with New York Fashion Week, it so ends up quickly being a ponytail, and it does my head in. I'm just
Oh,
being straight.
oh, I'm so glad you're saying it. It is so sad. But carry on.
And Bad Binge, I've done a show before, and he phoned me the other day, and he goes, "I really want you to do the hair for my show." He said, "Because you look at it in a different way." And he said, "You do whatever you want." And that brings me back to the 90s, where the designers used to say, "This is my collection.
Hmm.
What hair would you do with that?" And then on top of that, what's lovely about his stuff, because he's so avant-garde, I can really do something like I can get my creative juices flowing there. You know what I mean? So it'll be really, really
Yes.
fun. But that's happening September 10th in New York. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Okay. All right. Well, we will be at New York Fashion Week. Let's see if we're
There you
backstage.
go.
Cannot wait to see what these looks are. Last question, then we're gonna do some closing
Yeah,
bits
yeah.
here. But what
Great.
is a tiny thing that made you smile this week?
Okay. Well, what makes me smile every day actually makes me laugh every day. I have two little dogs. They're Jack Russells. They have lots of character. And
Yes.
at least once a day, they make me laugh. And they're so quirky. And yeah, they're obviously my heart and soul. And so they make me laugh all the time.
Oh,
Whether,
I love. What are their
I
names,
enjoy them.
Antoinette?
Daisy, who's turning 16 in a couple of weeks. So I'm very proud of her.
16.
I know. She
Wow.
runs after a squirrel. You have not seen anything like it. And then Alfie, who is so handsome, and he's turning 13. Yeah, so they're my loves.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're
Wow.
amazing. So I'm very
Uh,
lucky, very blessed.
as are we for this conversation. Antoinette, this was such a treat, such a pleasure that I get to be able to share this with all of our listeners. For those that are not following you already and not familiar with
Mhm.
Aveda and where Aveda can be found, where can they go? So, firstly, with you, plug your
Okay.
socials, plug your
Okay.
sites.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
do
I'm
it.
I'm pretty basic. I only do Instagram.
Easy enough.
So it's my name. My Instagram handle is my name. So it's Antoinette Beenders, which is with a B. If you, so that's just my personal stuff. Then on top of that, if you want to see more about other Aveda artists, we
Hmm.
have a page called Aveda Artists. And then of course we have our Aveda Instagram as well and website. So I'm sure with this one for all leave-in elixir, you will be seeing a lot of us in social,
Hmm.
especially this around the time of the launch. So come and check us out. And if you've never heard of Aveda, it's honestly it's absolutely a beautiful brand, and I can't share the smell of the brand with
I
you
know, I know. They have to experience
because
it
it's so
themselves.
unique. We always say smells like Aveda.
Hmm.
Pick up a bottle, just smell it for yourself. First of all, you'll fall in love with it, but then second of all, when you actually use it, you'll be blown away by the results. And that's all wrapped in a beautiful, sustainable package that you can feel good about. So I think, I feel very grateful to be with the brand. Otherwise, I wouldn't be as passionate about it. And I'd love for you to experience it.
I mean, I don't even, what do you say? Antoinette Beenders is a living legend in this industry. So talented, such a storied career, all of that experience, all the wealth of knowledge, and that, she's vouching for the one for all is, I think, something. What a treat for me in particular. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. And if you're not following her or Aveda, Get on that. And obviously pick up One for All. Be sure to hit subscribe, rate, and review, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at @ReadTheTease, and send in questions to volumeup@thetease.com. Volume Up is a Tease Media production. This episode was produced by Monica Hickey and Madeline Hickey. James Otabache is our editor and audio engineer. Thank you to our creative team for the custom Volume Up theme song and for putting together the graphics and videos for this episode.